All right, guys, we are live. We're live. Let me briefly silence my phone so I won't be hearing this humming sound.
Hi guys,
We're
how
live.
everybody doing? So welcome once more to this our daily podcast. It's always exciting to see you guys. So let's
Yeah,
get
yeah,
right
very,
into
very
the
exciting.
conversation.
Yeah, very. It
You
seems
know the
like it
US
seems like
government US government is back.
yeah. U.S. government is back. Another funny thing that I've noticed. It seems like every morning when we tune in to start discussing price of Bitcoin is usually around the same zone. I don't know if you've noticed. You'll find out that the previous day, like when we finished
Mm,
discussing yesterday, BTC started dumping again. You understand? Around this time yesterday morning, it was somewhere around this price, 104 thereabout. Towards evening,
mhm.
it started descending to like 101. Similar thing
Yeah,
happened 2 days ago, and I think even almost 3 days ago. It's beginning to look like a pattern where towards evening, BTC starts dumping.
the price
Then
goes down. Yes,
yeah, the early hours of the morning, it starts pumping again. Yeah, but yeah, we're hearing about the U.S. government calling off the shutdown, and that's looking like that's what's the catalyst. Well, I won't necessarily call that the catalyst though, because BTC went all the way down to almost 100K, 700 or thereabouts, approximately 101K. So we actually did flat out. We tapped on that liquidity at 100K then before we're seeing the bounce, which this bounce is not still a clear sign that we're going to pump, because technically speaking, we're still on the downtrend. So it's not like
yeah.
we're breaking
If
out of
you
111.
yes, if you check, there is this prediction market that is like poly market. I think it's Kalshi. If you check
Okay.
Kalshi based on their predictions, there's a whole lot of prediction towards the side of we are going to see Bitcoin around 90K, right?
Okay. Okay.
So the sentiment, if you check like the general sentiment around crypto, even the greed and the fear index, it's at the fear index, right? If you check conversations, general, maybe if you use one of these AIs to get Twitter feeds and analyze it, you find out
Yeah.
that most persons are tilting towards a bearish side, right?
True. Yeah.
Even if you see the data on liquidation, you will see that a lot of longs have been liquidated in the last 24 hours, right? So
Yeah.
almost everything is low key bearish. So we seeing US government is back online, and then we are seeing a little bit of pump. It could be a good thing because that could start the change of the sentiment. You get, in crypto, there's always this thing of something has to happen, but it has to be attributed to a news. You
Obviously.
get, yeah.
Yeah.
So if after this podcast now we now start seeing Bitcoin pump, most people will be like, it was because of the announcement that happened a few hours ago. U.S.
Invariably.
government is back
Invariably.
online, and we are back
Yeah.
online. Yes, ETFs have been approved. Everything is in full force. We are back. Trump did it. At the same time, if it dumps, we might now be like, oh, maybe this their news took too much time. There will be something that you have to attribute it to. So
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me, we're just looking out for trends. What's the trend that is maturing? What's the trend that is developing? What's news that happened during this whole slowdown that hasn't impacted price? Right?
Yes.
Those are
Yes.
like the news that maybe in the coming days or in the coming weeks could see some tokens pump. Like you were talking before we went live, you were talking about Cardina, what happened to Cardina and
Yeah. Yeah.
how
Yeah. Yeah. And
Cardina is
how
pumping.
Cardina is pumping right now. I think it has done almost 500% from yesterday, which
Yeah.
I didn't buy though. I saw it gradually 100, 200. I didn't jump in. And I think that pump started from either yesterday early morning or thereabout when I started seeing it moving. But I didn't bother buying. And that's what we're saying, that first of all, the Cardina project has aggressively dumped, like it's massively undervalued. Yeah, and this is just because of the foundation, the team that was in charge of taking decisions and pushing the project. decided to walk out of the project and leave it to the community. And that thing made Kedina lose over 95% of its valuation. Now, most persons now wouldn't see that as an opportunity. In crypto, we do more of a reaction. People tend to FOMO more. It's very few persons in crypto that work with facts. You get that have that conviction and they are adding to their portfolio. You get and believing. It's very few persons. Most persons, once they see that dump, they are reacting. Especially now that we have boats. So we're about to enter the era where it's more of boats and we're trading, carrying out most of the transactions. So we see now that most of these boats don't even have emotions. Most of these boats will trade the news. Most of these boats will react to impulse of what people are doing. Like if they notice that chat is dumping aggressively, the boat can also offload that position. Or if it is pumping,
and contribute to the dump.
Yes. Yeah, and contribute to the dump. So most times people would not be able to very much leverage on deep information. Yes, like in the case of this Kedina now, there's every chance that Kedina can still go back to all-time high. It's possible. Like we were just discussing an investment that they got, and I was saying,
yes.
yeah, and I was saying that what kind of coincidence is it that the team they actually stepped aside last month from the project. I think it's 1st of October. That's when they made that tweet, and they stepped aside from the project. And suddenly, barely 15 days after, they are getting an investment of almost $5 million. Is it possible that the team never knew about this? Or could it be that the person that is about to invest or the company or team of persons that wanted to invest, that was like one of their terms? Okay, because if you're bringing in a certain level of investment into a particular project, you can actually set terms. Yes, you can be able to say, for me to invest in your project, this is what I want. You can say, I want the project to be very decentralized. In fact, you can even have ideas of what you want to do with that project. Like you love the project, you love the tech, you know that they are downplaying it. It can be way bigger than this. But before you bring in your resources, you want to ensure that you have some level of control, or people that are controlling it, they can't be able to like twat what you want to do. So there are persons also, there are still investors that they would want to get in at a certain level. You understand? They want that thing to crash so they can get in. That's why I tell people that most things we see in the crypto space and from the outside, where you see like some dumps happening, some of it is actually planned by the team and maybe some investors. Some it's planned. Some they are doing it so that they can get back in at very cheaper prices. Some they are doing it because they have certain investors that want to come in with not necessarily money, but resources like connection, access. You understand? It's not just because of the money, but the access and the doors that they will open. So they need those investors in. And one of the terms the investors is giving them is that project needs to come down to so and so level before they can come
to make
in.
it very, very attractive.
Yeah,
for
very,
them.
very attractive. Yeah, that is what they want. Some, they need the team to sacrifice some certain things before they can jump in on board. So when people look beyond just what the chat is saying and try to like imagine what happens behind the scene, it gives them much depth when it comes to taking their final decision if to come in or not. At the same time, we still have some traders that they don't care about those things. It's easier, it's psychologically better for them to just trade based on reacting with what is happening in the market. They believe that they can never have enough information to know what is happening behind closed doors. So they just work with what they have, and they are very fast to abandon the ship if things are not going the way that they expect, since they don't have all the information with what the team is actually doing about that project. Okay, so I will be sharing my screen very soon. I'm trying to bring that up right now. Are there some projects that you're actually looking at currently? I'm trying to share my screen so we can look at some other stuffs. Just give me a minute, please. All right, can you see my screen?
Not yet. Can't see your screen.
Yeah, Okay, I think I've added it now. It should be visible.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah, it should be visible. Yeah, so I'm just briefly on charts before we get back to what's happening in the markets, basically. Just briefly. So on my screen here, we have this Zcash. I haven't traded Zcash in a while. If you look at my chart, last time I traded it was early this month. Since then, I've not looked at the chart to draw anything, but I've been seeing some patterns, but I haven't. But I couldn't help but notice from yesterday till today the fact that Zcash did a pump. Yeah, because usually it was on a downtrend. Hope you can see my screen, please.
Yes, I can see your
You
screen.
can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Zcash was on a down. It has been on a downtrend for some days now, not so long, but a few days. It has been on a downtrend, and I just had to like briefly glance through the chart this morning, but it was just a brief glance. Now, if I was trading this, which I didn't, this was where I would have been looking to get in. If I was, yes, yesterday or day before yesterday, but I wasn't. So today I'm going to be looking at the chart to find like a reasonable entry to get back in, because now that the US government is back on track, right now that the US government is back on track, and what we'll be expecting is like a move in the market. Yes, there are some projects that have pumped. We've seen like Dash has corrected seriously, talking about privacy coins. Dash has really, really, really corrected. Now, the interesting thing about Zcash is there's like some calls, key opinion leaders that are pushing Zcash, like Ato Hayes. He said something, I think was on Wednesday, day before yesterday or thereabout. He said something that used on Wednesday, calling for most persons to pull out their Zcash from centralized exchanges to non-custodial wallets or privacy wallets, which takes me to the next platform I'll be talking of briefly. Now that seemed kind of like interesting because they are still calling for the next leg up, which I'm not surprised. But it's pretty fair for us to get like a correction after hitting 700, which we speculated, and now we are consolidating within this range. It's very, 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 very okay and very fair. So personally, I'm looking for longs. I've not very well looked at the chart, but from my screen here, what I can see, if I'm to take maybe a long position, this just randomly analyzing this. What I'll be looking for from my screen here would be maybe for it to get back to this zone. That's where I'll be looking like jumping back on this. Now, this is largely depending on BTC holding the line at the 101K. Yes, I've stated this severally. It's largely depending on BTC holding the line at the 101K, because should BTC dump below that 101K range, you can best believe that if BTC gets like 99K or 98, most alts would crash aggressively, most of them. But as long as it holds the line, you would really see some other alts that would dump aggressively. Our Litecoin, AVAX rather, our AVAX trade is still very much intact. This is our AVAX trade. The long-term trade is still very much intact. You can see yesterday, based on BTC squeezing to almost 100K, it's returned back to entry. That's for the long-term one. It's returned back to entry. The short-term one has hit target, but it actually did return back to the entry. Same thing with
I think
Unique.
we have a news from Avalanche. I
Yeah,
think South Korean bank, that will be using Avalanche for tax reforms or tax returns. So that's
yeah,
actually a very bullish news for Avalanche.
yeah. So about Avalanche, Avalanche has lots of positive news, like really, really, really good positive news from Avalanche. Personally, holding some good spot positions for Avalanche, because Avalanche is criminally undervalued. If you ask me, it's criminally undervalued. They have some really good news about some platforms that want to launch stable coins, some banks that want to use it for as a settlement layer. Yeah, they are really pushing, they are building, and they are also pushing in terms of onboarding new developers. And there's a platform that they have that is synonymous to Super Team, the way Solana has Super Team in different countries. Avalanche has something similar. Is it Avalanche One? I can't really remember, but they have something similar. They're using to push for adoption, creating a community, and it's doing really well. It's not doing badly at all. And they still have like the gaming side where like they are pushing some games. They have some Avalanche games that are actually still doing pretty well to date. Yeah, I think there's one that they have that's like a Call of Duty. Can't remember the name basically, but it's doing really, really well. And they are racking up transactions and all of that. Someone is asking, we'll take questions briefly. So I strongly believe that Avalanche is still very, very good long term. In fact, it's one of those projects that has what it takes to like a 3x, 4x long term. Avalanche still has what it takes to hit $100 and even go above $100 long term. Avalanche is one project that I can tell people load it up long term. You get just like the way we were accumulating Ethereum 219, you get 219 when they announced Ethereum full port to a staking blockchain. You get, and they said to set up a node you need 32 Ethereum. Then one Ethereum was 90 something dollars then. It was at then. In Naira it was 30 something thousand Naira for one Ethereum, 219 to 20, when they said you can now start staking Ethereum and to create nodes and all. The same people were going to accumulate Ethereum at that price then, long term. It's like a similar way that people should go and start accumulating Avalanche now. Most people are even unaware of how robust the Avalanche ecosystem is, that you can actually stake Avalanche in the native Avax wallet, under the P chain. You can stake it to a validator and earn a certain APR annually. Most people are unaware, but these are things that people can throw in money and gradually accumulate it. The longer it stays around that price range, the better. So imagine someone that has a business you're doing or a job and you're making money and you're just allocating a certain percentage to accumulating Avalanche. Like that white guy that accumulated Ripple over $2 million before he got hacked. That guy has been accumulating Ripple for almost 10 years now before he got hacked, buying little, and he was able to accumulate over as at when he was hacked, he had accumulated over 1 million Ripple tokens. You understand? And if he looks at his average buy in that span of about 8 years or so, he'll find out that his average buy was probably $200,000 or maybe less. You get, but the Ripple he was holding, yes, his total investment, but the Ripple he was holding was already, the value was above $2 million in a span of about 6-7 years or thereabout. So once people can identify a solid project and you're accumulating it, the fact that that project is even at a very undervalued price for a very long time is an advantage, because you get to buy it at a very cheap price for a very long time. Then when it starts to shoot, you still maybe keep buying via DCA. If maybe the amount you're putting is $100 every week, for example, what you notice now is that $100 will give you less. But still, you still keep accumulating. And you find out that your best days that you accumulated the bulk of that asset was when it was extremely cheap. So me personally, Avalanche is one project that I can advise people like any day, anytime, load up some Avalanche, just like the same way we tell people in AR, load up AR, have like a diversified crypto portfolio where you have some very solid coins. You get that you have bought and you're constantly accumulating. Maybe you have a target. There are some persons that their target might be to just have 1,000 AVAX tokens. Probably when you reach that target, you can switch to another. There are some persons that their target is to have 20,000 AR tokens. Once they hit that target, they can choose to, okay, do they want to throw in more money or do they want to switch to another? You get now when you have that mindset, you find out that you will not be chasing how fast this thing will pump. You'll be very, very relaxed because you have an understanding that irrespective of what is going on, this token would definitely pump. Either you like it or not, this token would move. It's just time. It gets to a point where everything they've been doing will just crystallize. It might be in a bull market, it might be because of a particular news or anything, but it gets to that point where everything just crystallizes and the project starts pumping aggressively. So I would really encourage people to look into some very solid projects. Avax is one of them. Let me share my screen. Time is running very fast. Let me share my screen based on CoinGecko. I don't know if you have some stuff. Maybe we can take some of the questions while I'm trying to share my screen on CoinGecko.
Someone is just asking stop loss on that on your AVAX trade.
Okay. Stop loss on that AVAX trade is 14.7. That's for the long-term AVAX trade. The stop loss is 14.7. I hope you can see my screen now. Can you give us other examples of solid projects? AR is another one, like Arweave. Arweave is another one. Arweave. So let's just briefly look at top gainers today. So you can see 1111. I saw this coin, but I didn't buy. Can see Kedina. I haven't really loaded up any fresh projects. I've just been observing what's happening in the market. So you can see some random projects that have moved within the last 24 hours. If we narrow this search down to like top 1,000 projects, and we've seen Supra. Supra was what you are referring to. We can see Zora.
Supra pumps.
Okay, we can see Zora. Now there's a project that usually pumps once Zora starts pumping. Basis for everyone. This project basis for everyone. Based on
This project is another project that is actually
Zora
very valued.
Very good for swing. Yeah, it's very undervalued and very good for swing. Yeah. So what I just saw this now, and it came to my mind is Zora is pumping. Now, most times when Zora is pumping, from experience, because I've traded this coin several times, I noticed that base is for everyone. After some time, it would also start pumping. Like I said, most times when Zora starts pumping, so I think today Zora started pumping. You should keep your eyes on this. What you need to do is you just need to jump on the chart and go see where it is at. If it's, I don't know if I can just briefly do that. Okay, maybe I can just briefly do that before we round up because time is almost up. Okay, let this just be the last thing I do before we round up. So let me share my screen briefly for basis for everyone. So all you need to do before you jump to go accumulate, what you just need to do is you go over to the chart. Is my screen visible now?
No, not yet.
Is my screen visible now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so you need to go to the charts and you need to go check if it's actually at the support zone so that you can look at where to get in because most importantly, you don't want to be buying the top. Very important. So if you're looking at buying this, you most likely will be looking at jumping in around this level. That's where you would relatively want to jump in. Now, because of you're trading on a DEX Uniswap precisely, you won't be able to capitalize on stop loss. That is manually. But you'll be looking at getting in around this zone and targeting the price getting up to this level and above. But for someone like me, if I'm getting this, by the way, this is just like a brief analysis of it. Okay, good. For someone like me, switching to the daily charts, find out that this zone is a good zone to jump in. it's on rare occasions that the price of this asset goes below this. And even if it's to dump to its previous low, what's the worst that would happen? You'll be losing like 20% of your capital or 25% of your capital. But if it gets back to this zone, you'll be making almost 100%. Or worst case, if it gets back to this zone, you'll be making about 60% or thereabout. So these are like some things you actually want to check. And if you check, it's about to print a green candle and it's actually about to break out. So before you jump in, it's usually very important that you check what is happening on the chart. If you're getting in at the right price or if it has already moved. Yeah, so I think we can take questions before we call it a day. The two coins you advise for long term are AVAX and AWI, right? Yeah, those are the two. Not AVI, not AVI, AWI. Yeah, there are still others, but from the top of my head, these are some that you can jump in. So someone is asking, what's your opinion on prediction market as compared to trading? Is it better predicting? Now, it depends on what appeals to you and what you prefer. And most times, too, when you look at your data, like you check what you've been doing, if you find out that you resonate more with prediction markets, even if maybe you don't like it, or you find out that you tend to make more profits in prediction market, then it's advisable you give more energy to the prediction market. You get if you notice that. That's why it's good to like go back and look at your data or journal some of the moves you make. If someone is a meme coin trader and someone is a spot trader, and the person notices that they don't really like meme coin trading, but they make more profits from meme coins, then it's best to channeling energy to meme trading. So if you're choosing to decide or you're wondering which one should you go with, prediction or if you should do normal trading, either features or sports, just look at the data. Yet for me, I might say features trading and sports works better, but for someone else, it might be for prediction. For some other person, prediction might be very, very bad for them. They might not like it, but they might prefer features. Some other person, they might just easily love prediction. Maybe it takes them less time and it's something they can easily relate to. Then another thing you want to pay attention to when it comes to prediction is it cuts across almost everything in life. So it gives everyone an opportunity to make money from speculating on whatever it is that they are engaged or involved in. So if you're someone that loves to watch TV shows, the person might want to speculate on ranking of TV shows. What would they be ranked in? Is it what's the name of that platform? Something tomato. Is it red tomato or what? You will see some of those things there. Someone that is interested in politics, that person cannot go and be looking at trading and not. But it gives the person an opportunity to be able to leverage on politics, which is something they spend the bulk of their time doing every day, either reading or studying or participating. Okay, it gives them an opportunity to leverage on it and make money by speculating on maybe who the next candidate, winner, or anything would be. Someone that is into weather, you get person forecasts the weather. Person gives person an opportunity to make money from that. So the point is it cuts across everything. So you can't necessarily peg them side by side, prediction and trading. Prediction is kind of broader and covers a wider range of audience than trading because you can literally speculate and predict almost any and everything. Like anything you can imagine, a prediction can be made out of it and people can leverage on it to make money. So these are like some of the things people should try to like understand. Yeah, is there any question? I doubt there's any other question. Do you have anything else you want to say before we call it a day?
There's nothing else to say as of now. So I'm just going to keep an eye on the market because the US government is back online. We can see some volatilities and see if we can be able to get some of our bags pumping and make some money real quick. Yeah.
All right, guys. So please don't forget to invite someone tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day for the week that we're talking about it, and we'll be looking at the chat. We're looking at Bitcoin price action moving into the weekend, performance this week, and most likely what to expect next week. Someone says looks like Bitcoin dominance is bearish. Yes, BTC dominance is actually bearish, or it's been holding for a while. We just need it to break towards the downside. But yeah, we'll look into all of that tomorrow as the last day of the week. We'll look at most of those things and draw some analysis. So see you guys tomorrow. Try and bring someone with you. Share the link, like, share, subscribe, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.